Welcome to the Black Women Will Say Black Women podcast, the podcast where we support, amplify, validate, and elevate Black women always. I'm your host, Kamika Dillard, and this is our sanctuary, a space built on the belief that when Black women show up for each other, we don't just survive, we save. This is more than a podcast, it's a movement, so let's get into it. This week's Fail Forward Files is very close to my heart. I want to talk about ghosting, okay? Because ghosting has now gone beyond the confines of just dating, y'all. We are dealing with an epidemic of vast proportions when it comes to ghosting on a professional level. And I'm honestly just over it. And I want to talk about it because we've normalized are disappearing when it's time to have hard conversations. And when things get hard, we can't just disappear. And I try to avoid personally ghosting people because I have my own issues around abandonment. I'll share all the details one day about, being adopted and all that other good stuff and being dropped off by bio mom. But we won't go there today. But whenever I personally wind up in a situation where I have to ghost someone or I've ghosted someone, I get so disappointed in myself. So, as you know, I am in the midst of managing multiple businesses, multiple brands. I am overwhelmed. I am drowning. Thank God, and shout out to MJ. I shout her out a few times because she is helping keep this train going. Even so, one of the reasons why I'm so adamant about not ghosting folks is because I don't like being ignored. So when you send me a message on LinkedIn, I respond, not MJ, it's me responding. And I try to be engaging and helpful. And recently I had a situation where I had a Gen Zer, this is somebody like fresh out of college, who reached out to me to get some advice. And, I engaged with him and was as helpful as I could be. But there were a few times that he just was not listening and grasping. And I found myself getting really frustrated with him because I felt like they just weren't being respectful of my time, but going back and forth. And if you know me, I actually charge for my time. My tutoring costs a very nice penny. My coaching costs a very nice penny. So if I'm giving you my time for free, my most valuable of assets, I really want it to be respected. So I got to a point where I just stopped engaging with the guy. And I felt bad. I felt bad because I just was not in the mood to have the hard conversation with this guy. A lot of Gen Zers, Gen Alphas, they're very sensitive, especially when it comes to rejection. And I try to be mindful of that. But I did him a disservice by ghosting him. So when we ghost, we actually teach others that silence is acceptable. But when we face hard conversations, we actually build trust, resilience, and community. And the goal of me doing everything that I've set forth to do, especially with Black Women Will Say Black Women, is to build community. So failing forward really means confronting the hard situations and having hard conversations. It means choosing presence over disappearance, even when it is messy. So to that guy who I ghosted and left on red, I apologize. I actually have already reached out to this guy, but I just want to say it publicly. I'm so sorry that I left you on red for so long. That's just not acceptable. And I'm sharing this because I really want us to be really thoughtful in this new year about how we communicate with one another and how we have hard conversations, because hard conversations are really two-way. We help and grow. We help each other through growth, having hard conversations, not just with the person that needs to hear it, but with also the person who gives it. So that's this week's Fail Forward Files. Awesome. Our next guest, today's guest, I'm very excited to have Lynese Rawlins, a seasoned HR professional turned wellness entrepreneur. After nearly a decade in people strategy and leadership development, she followed her passion to launch Roots to Press, a New Jersey-based cold-pressed juice and sea moss brand inspiring healthier, more intentional living. A proud dog mom, fitness enthusiast, and CEO, Lenise embodies resilience, reinvention, and rooted in purpose. Proof that it's never too late to pivot, pour into yourself, and press forward. Let's welcome to the sanctuary, Lenise. How's it going,
Hello,
girl?
hello. I'm good. How are you doing today?
I am awesome. I'm loving the hair. The skin is
Thank you.
glowing. Okay.
Appreciate
Yes, black
it.
women, we don't ever look like what we've been through.
Absolutely.
Yes, so it's been a minute since we last chatted when we did our intake. We were really like trying to figure out this stuff together, girl.
Yes.
So I am really excited for you to share with the audience what you've been up to. But first, we got to get to how we even got here. So tell us what happened with your layoff.
Yeah, of course. So in January, I was laid off from my full-time role. For me personally, I've been in HR for almost a decade at this point, and it's been such a great journey. I did not start in HR. I more so started around retail management and then more of executive assistant work. And then I was getting my master's. And as I was finishing my program, my COO at the time came to me and was like, "What are you doing next? Make me a job description and come back to me about what you think you could do with the firm." So he actually started a role for me. So I was their first ever HR professional. I grew with that company for 5 years and decided that I kind of wanted to go into a different field of work. So I took my HR professions to a different field, dived into that as well. And then unfortunately, I was a product of a layoff in January. During that time, I kind of took some time to just fast with myself, with God spiritually, but more importantly, travel, spend time with family, spend time with myself. And during the end of that fast, I decided that I wanted to start a business. So a couple years ago, I actually began to juice just to be able to lose weight. Nothing was really working for me. So during COVID, I lost about 50 something pounds just from strictly juicing and working out. So when this opportunity came about, I really took some time to really sit with myself and sit with God and decide like what was I going to be passionate about. My biggest thing that I was taking away from this was intention. Whatever I was going to pour into, whatever I was going to do had to be with intent and something that fueled me up every day, something that made me excited to get up every day, help other people, build a community, and more importantly, build a brand that was really going to hit the ground running and really help other people become the best version of themselves. So in March of 2025, I started my baby Roots to Press. And from then, we've kind of been diving and going from different farmers markets, public events. We've been doing different partnerships, co-branding with different candle shops and plant shops and local gyms and Pilates studios and whatnot, just trying to connect with as many people as possible. And right now, I'm continuing to help elevate my brand to the next level, trying to book more corporate partnerships and just trying to reinvent this as many times as possible. So I'm constantly reinventing the wheel as I go because I'm a one-woman show, but I try to make the best out of what I have in front of me.
So she gave us a very quick elevator pitch of what she has been up to for the last year. We're going to
Yes.
break down some of this a little bit at a time. All right.
Yes.
So let's start first with the top of the year. So you were informed that you were being let go, unfortunately. Did you see it coming?
No, not necessarily. No, I really didn't. There were different things going on around the workplace. I wasn't expecting that to happen necessarily, but honestly, it was a blessing in disguise. And it honestly opened a lot of doors to me since then. So I'm very grateful that it did happen and the way that it did.
So we always want to kind of think about like, okay, we found out that we lost our job. What did
Mhm.
we do within the first 30 days of first finding out that we lost our job? Did we go straight into our juicing journey or did we take some time, reflect? What did you do
Yeah.
those first 30 days?
Well, I got laid off a week before my 30th birthday. I already had a trip planned to Carousel with my girlfriends, and I went and I lived my best life. I had a ball. I had a great time. I celebrated me entering this new decade, this new age of womanhood, and honestly, it felt like I was entering 30, leaving behind things that did not need to enter this new decade with me. So I took that time. I sat down. I cried about not having a job. I've never in my life not had a job before. Never in my life not knew what my next step was going to be or be stable in that way. So I took some time with me. I worked out. I started picking up hot yoga, started working at the Pilates studio, just really starting to dive into things that felt good to me. And during that time, I started to do my spiritual fast. So for those first 30 days, I did a spiritual fast, which actually was the product, Roots Suppressed was the product of that fast. So for me personally, I just took some time for me. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to hit the ground running. I didn't want to start applying to jobs because I really need to sit with myself to decide what is going to be your next step. For the first time ever, you have the opportunity to do something with intention and meaningful without just having to dive in just to do so.
Tell us more about the spiritual fast.
Mm.
I'm familiar I grew up Christian. I'm still Christian. I identify as Christian. I'm familiar with the Daniel fast that a lot of people do at the top of the year. And since, we're at the beginning of the year, a lot of people are trying to fast, flush out, et cetera, et cetera. Share some
Mhm.
details of the spiritual fast that you did post layoff.
Yeah, so I didn't follow anything in particular. I am a very go with the flow type of free-spirited girl. So I've been a Christian my entire life, and I know more importantly, I wanted to get reacquainted with my relationship with Christ. So during this time, I actually decided that I had a little book, actually a Bible study book that I was reading through at first, and I was like, I actually just want to wake up and pray. That's the first thing that I do. I'm gonna express 5 things of gratitude, what I'm grateful for. 5 things that I would like to do today, even if I don't do all of them. And then I'm going to read scripture and allow God to kind of guide me through about where my mind needs to be and what I need to focus on. So I started there and then I would journal. After every scripture, whatever the most potent thing that stood out to me, I would write it down in my journal and then kind of write about it, my emotions. What am I feeling? What am I going through? How am I going to change this thing? And at the end of each evening, before I went to bed, the first thing that I did was read the Bible again and do the same thing with my prompts. Now, the way that I did my Bible is I literally had my Bible. I said, God, what's that, big G? I love you. What's going on? Put my hand over the Bible. You tell me what scripture I need to read today. And I kid you not, for 30 days straight, I went in blindly and I said, you tell me what scriptures I need to read today. You tell me what I need to hear today. And sure enough, every single day I woke up, some scripture came up and it literally kind of set the tone for the day. And it helped me. And I literally would wake up and I would call my mom, like, get in the Bible. This is what's going on today. Like, read the scripture and stuff like that. And it really just helped me overall because I didn't realize how much I was neglecting my relationship with Christ over time, and I realized that I needed him more than I needed anything else, and I needed to be sure that not having a job, not having an income, not having all these things that I'm used to having, I had everything I needed because I had him, and I just needed to figure out a way to just be grounded, trust in him, and literally be blinded by everything and just walk by faith and not by sight.
I love it. So I say often I'm a woo woo girl, but I'm a woo woo girl who believes that there is a higher power above us.
Hmm.
For me, it's Jesus. For some others, it might be Allah, but I too relate to tapping into something above me to like guide me through this period. Because when I tell you, like, it can get really low, and I know some folks are experiencing that right now, like we get it. It's sometimes you got to just tap on, someone who is in charge of everything to guide you through this journey. So I love that you tapped into the spiritual side, went on a spiritual fast, and post those 30 days, you really had some clarity.
I sure did. Shockingly. I woke up and I said, Mom, what would you think if I started juice? And she was like, What? Go back to corporate. I said, No, wait a minute, wait a minute. Here's what I'm thinking. And I literally, within like 2 weeks, I had a logo, I had a business plan, I had an Instagram, I had everything ready to go. 2 weeks later, I bought juices to my job. I worked at the Pilates studio, bought juices there, and the rest was history. Just kept going from there.
So this is crazy. Well, it's not crazy. It's just I'm always amazed by how
Mhm.
fast things can like transform. Like I shared my story before about even how the podcast got started. I had a
Mhm.
friend who was like, "Girl, you need to be telling your story about you being laid off." I didn't listen to her. Then I had another girlfriend a month later read me for filth, and 3 days later I started the podcast, recorded my first episode. So stuff can happen really, really
Real
quickly,
quick. Yes.
especially when it's, I would say, when it's spiritually ordained too. Like, stuff will start, ideas will start populating, you will start thinking about things you never thought about,
Ever.
design, strategy, stuff will just start
Hmm.
coming to you easily when you are working in your purpose, essentially. So I love that. Let's talk about the money. We always are going to talk about the money on this podcast. So when you were let go, did you get any severance?
Yes.
Okay. How many weeks or months, etc., were you able to get?
It was about 10 weeks or so.
Did you have the traditional 6 months of savings, girlfriend?
I did.
So she was prepared, and this is like I want to emphasize this because you are one of our younger of our guests.
Mhm.
She just turned 30 this year, and you had everything ready. You had everything tapped in. Why? Who grounded you in that, or what made you ensure that you had your 6 months of savings, et cetera, to be prepared?
My mother. I am. My mom is born and raised in Jamaica. I'm Jamaican, a Black American, and my mom did not play. If you were raised in a Caribbean household, you know damn well you better have your education and you better have money in your savings account for a rainy day. That money was supposed to be for a down payment for me to buy a house by December 2025, but it's okay because God had other plans for me. And you know what? I needed that to continue to take care of myself. So the fact that I have been living off of savings basically since January, I think is a blessing that a lot of people don't know. They don't get to see it, right? I'm not saying it's glorious, right? You have to live on a tight budget, and I have to literally make sure I can't do everything. I can do some things, but I cannot do it all. But I'm going to make sure I'm still living my life. I'm still enjoying things. I'm still being able to just keep myself happy and afloat because it's so easy to fall into a depression and fall into that like seasonal depression is the word, depression, like that really deep
Let's
depression.
call
You're
it
like,
what it
oh,
is. Yeah.
yeah, like how did I get here and how do I get out of this, right? I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you there are days that like I was in a rut and my friends be calling. I'm like, I don't want to talk right now. I'm just real, down and my friends will still show up. They will make sure if you ain't got it, don't worry about it. We taking care of you this time. Like I'm so grateful for my community and my circle and my family who has literally rode with me since this happened. And I would not be where I am today without them. And I really am thankful to be able to have been raised the way that I have been raised to understand the importance of you can have all these lavish and beautiful things, but anything can happen in life. So you need to be prepared for these emergencies just in case this thing happens. My emergency fund happened to be the money that I was saving to buy a home. And guess what? It actually had to be reinvented. And guess what? I will be able to redo it again down a later line. But again, all a blessing in disguise. It was God's plan. Like at any point, I just keep thanking God, like, wow, you carried me this far. Like, wow, you actually made me save this money for a reason versus going on this trip or versus buying this bag or doing this thing. I didn't know what I was doing with this money at that point, but you knew what you wanted me to do with it. And um, I'm very grateful to have a good financial understanding of my finances and good financial literacy, so to say. I used to work in a financial firm as well, so a lot of my bosses as well was very big on educating me on those things. So I've been blessed, I will say, along the way. I cannot complain from there.
I love it. I love that you're prepared for anything. That's what an emergency fund is. I know some people don't like to call it that, but
Mhm.
listen, money saved for any type of need, necessity, expense is a blessing to be able to do that. So let's
Mhm.
talk more about the juicing business. So root to press. So we started it. We got a logo. Our business was rocking and rolling in about two
Yeah.
weeks. How was that first 30 days with the business, sis?
Insane. I literally made $6,000 in 30 days from selling juices and sea moss. And I was like, wait, what? And this is just straight off Instagram, me promoting on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. And this is straight up just family, friends spreading the words to other people in their communities and be like, she lost her job. This is what she's doing full time. Support, support, support. And it was just one of those things. My mom blasted out to her friends. My sister blasted out to her friends. My friends blasted out to all their parents and their friends and stuff like that. And then all these people was just like, oh, Lenise has this. Cool. We want to try. We want to do this thing. So I didn't think the sea moss was going to sell. To be very honest with you, and I had to reinvent my sea moss a couple of times because have you ever had sea moss? It takes a little bit to get the right product. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I was just like, I'm gonna try this thing because I know it's really good and people need this thing, right? Like there's no one that I know that's doing it. And it took a couple tries, and I told my friends, be honest with me, I will never forget. I made a strawberry sea moss one day, and my best friend was here, and she said, friend, I don't like this one." I said, "What's wrong with it?" And I like at first I was like, okay, tell me what's wrong because if you don't like it, I'm gonna sell it to someone. I was like, I'm gonna be freaking embarrassed. So like, tell me what it was. And she literally was just like, this consistency is this, or it's too watery here, and da da da. And I literally could not sleep that night. Could not sleep. I woke up the next morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning. I kid you not. I sat there and played with that recipe for 4 hours straight. 4 hours straight. Tried a new flavor. I called her. I said, "Where you at? I made a new jar. I'm coming to drop it off. Tell me
Mm,
what you think about it." She was like the best that I've had.
I love
Flavor,
it.
and I'll tell you, my mango sea moss sells out immediately. The moment I make it, they're all out my drawer. Immediately. So that was like one of those things that you can't be afraid. And I think I tell a lot of people this now who are starting businesses, like you have to be so open-minded to people giving
Absolutely.
you criticism because that is the only way you're going to become better. And sometimes it's hard to hear certain things because you're real sensitive about your stuff.
Absolutely.
But I can't be the best version of me, and Rooster Breast can't be the best version of itself if I don't have constructive criticism to continue to reinvent the wheel over and over again. And I'm not afraid to reinvent the wheel over and over again, right? So that was like a big blessing. And I kid you not, I got my signature 4 drinks, and then I play around with different recipes now. My sea moss, every day I wake up, I do blueberry, peach, strawberry, pineapple, mango, whatever you want. You call me, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna make sure it tastes good first, but I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna get it done for you
Listen, I say
every
all the
time.
time, feedback is the gift that you
It
don't know
is.
you need, especially as an entrepreneur. Because
Mhm.
if you don't know, if you're afraid to try, first of all, you're never going to get to the point where you have something that's just really popping, y'all.
Yes.
Really popping. Like when I did my first like cohort of do one thing, I was like throwing everything at this cohort. And like they were so open to it because I did it with a group of black women because black women are safe people. And they gave me so much feedback along the way, like, and I asked for it. I was like tell me if this resonates with you. Like, nah, sis, I'm not waking up before my job to do like
Yeah.
this type of practice. Like, you gotta do something else. Like, but I needed that feedback so I could get better. So I love hearing stories about, hey, I tried something and this
Mm.
person said it wasn't popping, and I went back and reiterated, because that's how we get better.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
love it. So 6,000 in the first month. What are we doing revenue wise now? How's the business been going now?
This is my slow season, transparently. It's slow, it's cold out. People are focused on their Thanksgiving plates, their Christmas plates, or whatever holiday they celebrate. So it is slower. People are not focused necessarily on the juices. I have my standard people who are constantly ordering like once a week or so to say that I do like a glass refill program. So if you are a consistent person that orders like a 6 pack and above, I buy these glass jars from you for like a solid fee, and then every week you drop them off to me and I refill them. So that way I'm saving plastic, but more importantly, giving you a discount. So you're getting more juice for a higher discount than the average person will get. So trying to continue to entice my returning customers to come back with some sort of different, whether it's additional shot or a sample of this or whatever it is, across that line. So that definitely takes some time. Right now, it's a little bit slower. During the summertime, business was booming. Like, I mean, booming. I would be at the farmer's market and we'll sell out within like 2 hours. Everything sell out. People were literally like, "Oh, I found you on LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, excuse me, on what do you call it? Then Google. I found you on Instagram, TikTok, and I had to show up and pull up, and will sell me out." Like I wouldn't even the thing would even start at 5 o'clock. By 4:30, half of my cooler was gone
Oh, wow.
because people will be like, "We're coming for Roots to Press. We're coming to show up." And you come to my tent. My mom was there, my sister, my niece, every single week. If they couldn't come, my best friends, my line sisters showed up. Like it's always a family thing, and I always tell people that it may just be me making these juices, but I'll tell you one thing: my family, my friends, are gonna be pushing this juice to the line every time they get okay. They do not stop, and I appreciate that because it really helps me to stay grounded. They don't always get to see behind closed doors what I'm battling with and what I'm how I'm struggling being this business owner, trying to balance it all with this little munchkin. I got my little fur baby and my own life and working early in the morning, this and the third. So some days it's rough, but I wake up and I see my mom dancing in the middle of the farmer's market, or my niece just telling everybody, my auntie sell juices. Just stuff like that just continues to push me and make me go harder every time. Like I always have a reason to just keep pushing through. And it didn't matter. My mother didn't show up, my sister was there, right? Like my family means the world to me. So having that support and continue to push through also helped with my sales. People, especially at farmers market, are buying from you based on your story. They hear you, they understand you, they know why you're doing what you're doing, they're passionate about it. You're passionate about it, so they're passionate about it, and they want to support. And I feel like from there, the summertime was like, I didn't need a job. I didn't need a job. I was good.
So tell the people about, because we talked about this when we did our intake, but tell the people about your hesitancy with the farmers market initially.
Oh goodness, God bless. I'm going to talk about this beautiful lady. I was at the car dealership getting my car fixed, and I was on my laptop making a logo or something I was messing with for Instagram. And it's one lady, I cannot remember her name. God bless her. She just kept trying to have conversation. What you doing on your laptop? And I'm like, why is this nosy woman all up in my business? Like, what's going on? And then I finally was just like, take your headphones off and talk to her. Like, it's okay. So I finally just started to have a conversation. I told her what I was doing. She was like, "Oh my goodness, I want to share. I feel called to you. I want to share the story about my cousin." Her cousin owns a bacon shop, and he did started out how I started out. Basically, would do like brick and mortar, and will make pies from his grandmother's recipe, and would go store like door to door and just kind of sell to different people. He finally got his first brick and mortar out of a medical building that he used to deliver to. They had like an open kitchen. He started there. He also just started his second, or just opened his second storefront here in Maplewood, New Jersey. So if you're ever around, it's Grandma Emma's in New Jersey. Shout out to Eric. Him and his cousin have been true blessings to me. She pushed me. She was like, "You have to do this farmer's market." He did all these things. He's in C-towns. He's in his supermarkets. Like, you can do this. I said, "I can't do that, girl. It's just me. Like, this is too much. I can't do this." She's like, "If he could do it, you could do it. You're gonna do it, actually." She's like, "Better yet, why you on his laptop? Email this woman and da 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 da." And I was like, "Wait, I know this lady. This is the same lady who just posted on Instagram for the farmer's market for you." And she goes, "Yes, email her right now." Emailed the lady who happens to be Christina, my dog's dog sitter. Emailed Christina and immediately responded back and was like, "Oh, we would love to have you. Like, please come fill out this paperwork, etc." And I got there, and sure enough, the gentleman who owned Grandma Emma's, Eric, I finally met him, and I was like, "I have to tell you, you are the reason, or you and your family are the reason why I'm here today at this farmer's market. You're still inspiring people, even behind closed doors, and you don't even know it." So I was like, "Shout out to you. I appreciate you. I wouldn't be where I am right now if your cousin did not see me." And I feel like God aligned us purposely. So I was like, I just wanted to let him know, like, your story inspired me, and it's always going to continue to inspire me. I'm always going to share the story because it was the reason how I got to the farmers market. I wouldn't have done it if if she didn't tell me, if I didn't meet her. I was like, "I can't do no farmers market. What are you talking about? This is too much." But I did it. It was amazing. So many opportunities came about, so many different people, so many clients I met. Salima, I don't know if you see on my page sometimes I post about Urban Glow. It's a candle making salon. So she has her own storefront down the street from me. I go there. She's like, "The season's slow. Come do mocktails for me. Come do a travel bar. Start doing all this stuff. Like, we got to get you going." I was like, "Okay, like, sure, why not?" But when you have a community, like, that really helps you to keep going. You don't realize your own potential until someone else starts to remind you of, like, you can do this thing. You just have to believe in yourself. And sometimes you need a couple people to gas you up and just push you off the cliff. And I'm so grateful for those who have pushed me.
So, are we like fully immersed in entrepreneurship, or are we looking still for another job?
A mix of both. So right now, I'm going to continue to dive into my entrepreneurship as much as I possibly can. However, it's been a year, and I saved for 6 months, so I definitely made it through. Mama got to pay the bills, right? So I am starting to look a little bit, but more so around roles that are more operational based. So I know, as much as I love HR, I do not whatsoever want to go back into HRBP work. I don't want to manage right now. I don't want to go into HR management work. I really want to go into the operational side. I love ops. I love tech. I love doing things on computers, like trying to figure out little things to make sure the employee experience is really all are wholeheartedly fun for them and just feels like an easier experience. Just knowing, as an employee who has been through different things myself, I want to make that easier for other employees. So the operational side is what I would like to focus on, which is why I'm like easing back into looking in roles, but I'm being very, very specific about which roles I would like to take.
Why are you making the decision? Because I know people are going to have the question because
Mm.
Rooster Press is doing so well. Why are you even trying to go back into corporate?
Yeah, Roots Press is doing well, but I would tell this to any entrepreneur. You can still be an entrepreneur and still go to corporate. You can also have a corporate job to fund your entrepreneurship as well. Money flies, right? As I'm continuing to fund my business, I need money to fund my business. And if I don't have, if the season is slow and if I don't have ongoing income coming in from that, I need a way to be able to replace that, right? So I'm not afraid, I'm not saying that my business is failing whatsoever. And I'm surely not afraid to say, "Hey, I need to go back to be able to do X," right? That doesn't mean I need to stay in corporate forever. It just means that at this stage right now, I need additional stability that's going to help me to get my business to the next level and myself to the next level over time. So I'm not afraid of it. I'm okay with that. And I do encourage any business owner, if you feel like you're struggling and you're not hitting your metrics that you want to hit, it's okay to go back to corporate. Even if it's not corporate, if you want to go and teach or coach something, like, it's okay to do something else to take care of yourself, because the goal is to always take care of yourself, right? Like, we can struggle. Everyone can struggle in different ways, but always find a way to make sure that you are good at the end of the day. And that's what I'm doing, making sure that I have a solid foundation.
And I will say I don't even want to glorify the struggle. Like I'm used to making so much money.
Yeah,
And I want to maintain my very bougie lifestyle. So
that's it.
if you need to go back to do that, then do what you need to do. Like, you don't owe anyone an explanation. And I'm talking to
Yeah.
listeners who are like struggling like about making decisions, especially since we're at the top of the year. You can do whatever you want, sis. If you want to work corporate, if you want to be an entrepreneur, do
Hmm.
whatever is in the best interest of yourself. Be
Absolutely.
who you want to be, okay? At the end of the day, okay? So I
Mhm.
love that you are still trying to, and I will say, to me, like, if I was 30 so long ago, I would probably like still be trying to like hustle, because when I was 30, I was working my corporate job, my good corporate job post
Mm.
grad school, but I also had a little part-time job that I always like kept in the cut. And I had my first tutoring business too back then too. So I always had two, three, four things, piping up. So I can have a lot of money to fund my bougie lifestyle. So
Mhm.
do whatever you got to do. I love it. So, as we're winding down, wrapping this up, what is your ask from the community? How would you like to be saved?
How I would like to be saved is such a beautiful question. I am one that hates to ask for help whatsoever. I will struggle in silence before I will jump to ask for help.
We're not
But
doing that in 2026, just FYI. Go ahead.
I'll tell you one thing. During this journey, I learned very quickly. I need help. I need help. I don't know. I'm raising my hand. Tap me in. I'm tapping in whoever I can to learn from them because I don't know it all. So with that being said, two ways that would be beneficial from a health perspective or safe perspective. One is Roots to Press. Make sure you follow us, Roots to Press, on Instagram. Support the page. We ship our sea moss nationwide. So if you are across any state in the United States of America, you can place an order and I will happily ship to you Monday through Wednesday and you'll get your order no later than Friday. If you're in the state of New Jersey, in the Union County or North Jersey area, and you want to show support, feel free to text me. We can coordinate a drop off. If there's a cluster of people, I'm happy to drive a little bit further to make sure that you all are getting your drinks and showing support in that way. So just continue to show love and putting Roots to Press on the map is my biggest goal. Eventually, would love to open. My goal is to open a cold pressed juice and I love coffee shop that's based around jazz. I love jazz
Ooh,
music. That is my ultimate goal in the end. But outside of that, anyone that is plugged into the HR operations, people operations field that can help me plug me in any way, shape, or form, that I would definitely appreciate.
awesome. How can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram, I had Instagram probably when it first started. So my name on Instagram is Lenise, Lynese. I'm on TikTok as well under Lenise. And then my business page on Instagram is Roots Depressed. So I'm around. I am very friendly. I will talk to anybody. So feel free to tap in, ask questions, mentor, whatever it is that you need. I'm happy to connect.
I love it. You brought so much energy today, and I'm so happy you did. She came out like,
Thank
girl, we're
you.
about to talk, and I'm about to talk real fast because I'm from the East Coast. So catch up, okay? Catch up. And
I
I'm
got
Cali
you.
cool, okay? So we not talking that fast over here, girl. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Lynese, for coming on and join us in the sanctuary to talk about Roots to Press and everything that you have went through for the past year. So we appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So this week's save strategy is centered around rejection. So I
Mm.
talked about ghosting at the top of the hour, and I want to talk about rejection and how this week's letter that we're going to focus on uh from the save strategy. Let me start all over because he's going to edit this. So this is what happens when I get tired. All right. So this week's save strategy is centered around rejection. So I spoke at the top of the show about ghosting, and I thought that we consider this week or consider this week's save, which is focused on the E in save, elevate, around rejection. So rejection can really keep us stuck if
Mhm.
we internalize it. Elevation, which is what I want us to focus on, is choosing to rise anyway, using rejection as fuel. So, how do we overcome rejection and really elevate ourselves? Some of the key takeaways that I really honed in on our interview with Lenise is, listen, she tried some stuff. The stuff didn't work out. Like, essentially, like, her girlfriend, her best friend told her, this is not cracking, sis. You got to go back in the lab. Now, she could have used that as like, oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this. I can't make it. But really, rejection, AKA, which to me is a form of feedback, you can really use it as fuel. So let rejection help you rise to the next level. Rejection, especially when you think about it, is all about the pivot. You can pivot, you can refine, you can push forward as long as you have this information that the rejection has given you to turn internally and look inside and figure out what you need to do to push forward, to modify, to change so that you don't take this rejection personally. So, when you think about the message and what I really want you to take away from rejection when it comes to elevation, I rise above every rejection. Every no becomes a stepping stone to my next level. So think about that for the rest of the week. This has been another wonderful episode of Black Women Will Save Black Women. As usual, support, amplify, validate, elevate. That is how we will save. And never forget, Black women will save Black women. I'm your host, Kamika Dillard. See you next week in the sanctuary. Have a good week.